cannabis has been present in the U.S. longer than psychedelics. And when I say present, it has been more widespread, more popularized for a longer period. If you look at a lot of the early drug policy laws in the U.S., going to the late 1800s, early 1900s, cannabis started to become associated with Mexican migrant things like psilocybin mushrooms, LSD become popularized so much later. That said, I think that Black people have been using psychedelics in different forms for a long time. Obviously, we know about Iboga in Gabon that's associated with the Bwiti people. And I know that there are probably so many other forms of what you call traditional medicine, plant medicine throughout the African continent. When we look at contemporary uses of psychedelics, going back to the 60s and 70s, there are a lot of Black artists who use psychedelics as a way to make art, music, or to influence their work. I think you can look at people like George Clinton, Lucy Collins, even, yes, oh yeah, Jimi Hendrix, of course. Yeah, but even some of the R&B groups like the Commodores or the Temptations, Four Tops, I think they also incorporated some elements of psychedelic rock into their music. So I think that Black people in the U.S. are forced to be quieter about our drug use because we know that the man is watching, and surveillance has been a reality for a lot of us, for me, but also going back to the civil rights movement. There are paid informants. And I guess in Black consciousness, we're always aware that the man is watching in one way or the other. When it comes to talking about drug use, we learn to talk in codes and learn not to talk on the phone about it. Definitely not talk to the media about it. So I think that's why you don't hear as much from Black folks about psychedelics. But now we hear lots of rappers, singers talk about their psychedelic use. I forget what rapper, I'm forgetting his name, but I know there was like an acid rap album. Future song a few years ago, Molly Percocet, was extremely popular. And some people may not consider Molly a psychedelic, but there are some camps of folks who do. So I think that it's not necessarily about us using it less. I think there is evidence for that, but I think it's about how it looks different. And I also think that Black folks tend to use substances less than our white counterparts. That's my theory. That's not proven. But in 20 cannabis arrests around possession across the U.S., Black people were up to 4 times more likely to be arrested for cannabis use or possession, even though the rates that we use cannabis are similar to white folks, if not less. So I think that reality comes into play in terms of like how we talk about psychedelics. Psychedelics have also been associated with white folks for a long time, like the hippie movement. And so for those of us who never tried psychedelics, there's that hesitancy because we're like, oh, this is some white people shit. I'm not fucking with that. Because in the Black community, a lot of times we see like white people shit as living on the edge unnecessarily. And being Black will already have you living on the edge in the U.S. just because our skin color is just a signal for so many racist places.